Hello and welcome to Around the Hoop, the Westwood Basketball Show. I'm your host, Mike Gay, and again, I'm joined with Coach St. Martin and Coach Clifford. Welcome.
How's it going, Mike?
Good to be
It's
back.
going very well, and congratulations to the two of you for getting through another series of tryouts and prepping for your upcoming first matchups. The public wants to know, how did it go? We'll start with you, Steve. Talk about the tryouts.
Yeah, tryouts are always hard. You got kids who are working so hard, and then you end up having to cut them, and that's not something that's positive. We bring them in and do it face to face. I know, years ago, people used to post a list, and some people still do that. But we give them an opportunity to ask questions if they have any questions or anything that they wanted to do. And we've had, like I said, some really great kids that put a tremendous amount of effort into it. It's just that at those 2 days, you have to take the people who perform the best at tryouts and to keep everything square and fair. So that's what we do. But it's never an easy process. And Coach and I talk about it all the time. It's really difficult. So. Yeah.
Anything you want to add to your tryout?
Yeah, similar on our side. We had to make cuts in the girls program for the first time in I think 4 or 5 years. So that was difficult, but it's a good sign for the program. It's a good problem to have. But it's tough. You're delivering, bad news to good kids who work really hard, and ultimately we're excited to now have rosters and kind of move forward. But it's a really tough couple days in the middle of that first week when you're making those decisions and dealing with that. But things have been good since then.
And so tough, I understand that you added another day to kind of get, again, another chance to look at all the girls.
Yeah, our tryout was really competitive. We tried to do it in 2 days for the varsity tryout. I actually extended it to Wednesday for the first time in my 6 years coaching. So it just really says a lot about how competitive the tryout was and how hard everyone was working.
Yeah, and so I know that there's the tough side where you have to have some difficult conversations.
Right.
But there's also the positive side. The kids that gave their all, worked extra hard and put themselves in a position to make the teams. To that extent, you got freshmen, JV, and varsity, in both the boys and the girls side. How do you prep between the tryouts and then the first games, which for you are tonight, the 11th of December, and for you on Friday, traveling to Dedham? So how do you transition from that intensity of the tryout to now we got to get ready because we got a game?
Correct. I mean, it's tough because you have to install the offenses that you want to put in, out of bounds plays, and get all that stuff going. And we usually have at least 3 scrimmages this year. For the first time, we only did 2. And I just felt that it was more important to put in some things that we needed to do, looking back on the last couple of years' notes. I just keep notes every year about things that we want to adjust and change, and that was one of the things that stood out so much, is that can we cut the number of scrimmages down to really get our offensive sets in and make sure we do well. And then we had our 2 scrimmages against 2 really tough opponents. BC High we do every year that first Sunday, and then Lincoln Sudbury we do the following Friday. So those 2 teams right there will prepare you for a lot of the teams that you're going to face this year, because they are Division I, big time program. So,
how'd you do? How'd you do in the scrimmages?
We did really well. We're very competitive in both. I think the first couple of quarters we did well against BC High, and then overall I think we did well. And in Lincoln Sudbury, the first quarter we didn't look really that great, but then we were able to put things together and look much better as the scrimmage went on. So that was a positive, definitely.
And you got a little shout out to Coach Mike Norman at Lincoln Sudbury.
Absolutely.
So if he's watching. Hello, Mike. So how about yourself? Again, that transition, tryouts, and the intensity, adding that 3rd day, which again gave you less time to prep. So now you've got a game on Friday.
Yeah, so we actually, with just the way the schedule worked out, I went from making those cuts and decisions right into our first varsity practice. So it was an especially really fast switch that needed to be flipped. But it's been exciting to work with our team. We're carrying 12 this year. It's a really great group, but it's the same thing. It's what do you prioritize? I actually changed my tune a little bit with that. We always start, defense first, and that's equally as important to us this year as it has been. But we had some trouble scoring last year, so we really started focusing on our offense, getting out in transition. Those are things the girls have been working at for the past, 2+ weeks now. So I went the other direction with scrimmages this year because we have a longer preseason than normal. We've actually had 4 scrimmages, or we will have 4 by the time we get to our first game. We went down and scrimmaged Duxbury, and Falmouth joined us as well. So So those are two good, Division II South teams in our tournament bracket. Then we hosted Walpole, who recently moved up to Division I. They'll be competitive again this year. And then last weekend went up to Acton Boxborough. Didn't know anything about them, but we know that's a competitive team out in Division I Central, and got a good run-in with them. We're actually going to end scrimmaging with Braintree, who are the defending Division I state champs and one of the best programs in the state. So we're really looking forward to that challenge.
Yeah, Braintree's overrated. I'm just kidding. That was a joke. Great program, and I know you're very friendly with the coach. So that's great. Let's talk about some goals. Short-term goals. Some long-term goals. We ask this question every season. We'll start with you, Steve.
We keep it the same all the time in the sense that, the players always select individual goals and then team goals that we talk about. And the number one thing that I'm always trying to emphasize and us to focus on is, can we just get better? Like, let's work on being the best we can be. And then all that other stuff will take care of itself in the long run. If your focus is on something else, and then you're forgetting to get better, you end up missing out on the stuff that you need to do in order to reach those goals. So we identify the things that people would normally do is what you want to win, championships and all that stuff. But then a majority of it we focus in on is like our communication, our defensive rotations, setting good screens. Like, these are the things that we try to narrow in on, because if you're doing those well, chances are you're positioning yourself to reach the winning goals that you set for yourself, whether it be a league championship or a state championship or whatever.
That's great.
Yeah, we're in a similar mindset. It's repetitive and cliche of just to get better every day. If we get a little better every day, we're going to have a pretty good end product come the end of the season. One of the big words we were using a ton is consistency. I've seen, a lot of what I want to see. I've seen everything a little bit, and we just need to make sure that all of those things happen, on a more regular basis. So that goes to everything. You can go into every example of anything in basketball. Everything's there for us. We have it. Our potential is really high, I think. It's just a matter of, putting that out there consistently. In terms of kind of the tangible stuff, we definitely want to get back to the tournament. It was a little lonely last February, just kind of watching everybody else. Was really happy for you, but really jealous. So we kind of, took a year off from the tournament. We're definitely trying to get back. And then we just want to be competitive in our league, and we think we can be this year. So we're looking forward to getting into it.
That's great. A couple of final questions for you. First, probably about 100, 200,000 viewers of the show. What can they do to support you going into the season? Is that coming out to the games? What type of support do we want from the community?
Want to take that first?
Yeah, I think just come out and watch us play. I think we have an exciting team. We have really good kids who work really hard, are playing well together, and hopefully we can both be competitive and put on a good show this year. But I think that's the biggest thing. We host a Westwood Basketball Social now every winter. I say every winter, it's going to be the second one. That's at the end of January, so we'd welcome people to come support us there and get to meet the coaches and parents, things like that. But other than that, it's just come out and see us play. Plenty of opportunities. Yeah,
and we also run tournaments to run the Riley Classic we do together, and then the boys we do one in December after the Christmas holiday. We do something right before New Year's. So that's always ways to support us as well. So. Yep.
Also, I believe that you have a newsletter that you're going to be sending out, so people want to subscribe to the newsletter. They can do that, I believe, on the website.
Yeah, we can make that happen.
There you go.
Yeah.
So yeah, nothing
there's
real time
sure.
Changes
we'll
to the website. And then on your end,
the website
as well.
And that gives you everything you need from every team, that schedule, everything that happens, rundown of games that took place, all that type of stuff. So
quick URL for everybody.
It's westwoodhoops.com.
And how about yours?
www.girlsbasketball.com.
Great, and we may even be able to put that on the screen. High end.
And they can also follow us on social media too. Both of us are on, the teams are on social media and Instagram and also on Twitter. So
that's great. Any hashtags?
Well, still working on it.
There we go.
We always have the same thing. Coach Leibrock saying 100% effort, 100% of the time. So
there we go. Nice work. Final question is: there's a bunch of youth basketball players watching this. Probably not quite 100,000, but a lot. And what is your message to them? They're currently starting their seasons as well. Travel kicked off a couple weeks ago. We're in the middle of in-town, some great competitive games. What can they work on to put themselves in a great position to make one of your teams?
Well, the thing that we stress at our clinics we always run is the fundamental parts of dribbling properly, passing properly, shooting properly, and then the defensive foundations that we try to instill in the youth as they're moving up to be prepared to play at any level. You know, those are the things that you need to be able to do. So working on those fundamentals within their games, making sure that they learn how to communicate with one another and talk to each other and calling screens out or calling for the ball or those types of things that are very important for them to be prepared to play for either one of the programs at the high school.
And I'd say big picture, you know, listen to your coaches more than you watch Steph Curry and LeBron James, and you guys just can't do that stuff yet. It's not, if you get there, that'll be great for us, but.
Yeah, I'm still working on it. I think one of these days.
Me too. But just listen to your coaches, you know, they're there to help you get better, and I think, you know, the most important thing is have fun with it. If you don't enjoy what you're doing, you're not going to get as much out of it as you can. So, you know, we look for kids that, you know, work really hard and really enjoy what they're doing to, you know, benefit our programs.
Right.
Yeah, I'll summarize. You know, you made a great point. Micro goals lead to macro successes.
Correct.
And the same is true with basketball. And the fundamentals, do the little things. It isn't dropping 20 or 30. It might be, you know, picking up that charge. It might be, you know, that defensive rotation.
Right.
It doesn't show up in the scorebook, but if you're a coach, you're looking at it and saying, "I love the way that kid played."
Correct. I mean, there's a saying we always say, "Little things make big things happen." So the more you greatness is about doing a lot of little things very consistently well. So if you can do that, that's how you get there.
Awesome. Well, I know today, and again, this will air after your game, but you travel to Bridgewater Raynham.
Correct.
And then on Friday, you're hosting first home game against Dedham. On Friday, you'll travel. You make the long trek to Dedham to face Dedham.
Yep.
And they're you know, common foes. You know, I think on the Bridgewater Raynham side. Have you played them recently?
We have. Last year we started playing them and we decided to keep on the schedule. I mean, they're Division I powerhouse. I mean, they beat CM the last 2 years, last year at CM during the tournament. So they're a very, very good team. They're very well coached. Their coach and I are really good friends. He's a fantastic person. He's one of the people that I partnered with to do some skill clinics for high school players, and also we're with the NCAA rules, which maybe we can do a show on, you know, at some point. They've changed the rules to give us high school coaches more power within our programs and kids. Massachusetts hasn't done that, but the NCAA has, and so we're partnering to put together a showcase to bring college coaches to watch players who are interested in playing at that next level. So he's a quality person to play against, and that's why we kept them.
That's great. Dedham, new entry into the TVL, so are you familiar with their programs?
So last year, that was their first year.
Yeah, last year, first year.
Yeah, so other than that, not really. I know the
Okay.
coach because he was, you know, coaching basketball and soccer when I was actually an athlete at Norwood High, so it was fun to catch up with him last year. But yeah, we'll be over there. They're always competitive.
Very competitive.
Tough place to play over there. Again, since I was in high school, I've been doing it. So we're looking forward to getting started, but it's tough starting on the road.
Yeah, there you go. So next episode, we'll have the players of the week, so you get to look forward to that.
Perfect.
Good luck to all of your players, and again, best of luck as you start the season. I know it's a long haul, and it starts with doing all those little things right. So good luck, and
Thank you, Mike.
we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
So. Joining us in the studio are two of the three seniors for the Westwood Boys program. Welcome, Shea McCusker. We'll start with you. Shea, you're a senior. You made the team for the second year. Talk about the tryouts.
The tryouts were a lot of work this year. Yeah, definitely physically and mentally taxing, but through our preseason work, we were pretty much prepared for it.
Awesome. Owen Gaffney, one of the senior captains. What was the tryout for you? I know you were coming off an injury. So talk about your role in the tryouts. Again, battling that injury. What was it like?
So at first, I tried to just kind of battle through that injury and just go with it, and it didn't really work out as planned, which obviously was upsetting for me because it's my senior year and I kind of missed the last tryouts that I'll ever have. But as a captain, like, I still played a role during tryouts, like making sure everyone's doing what they have to, like staying on top of guys to like keep working hard and like seeing like pretty much the dynamic of like how kids are playing together.
Yeah, no, that's great. So Shea, let's talk about your basketball journey. Again, this is your first time. Welcome to Around the Hoop. Going up through second grade, in town, travel basketball. You're a senior now. Talk about that journey, and then talk about lessons that you've learned along the way that kids in the younger grades can take and try to grow.
Yeah, so like in middle school, I got cut from the Metro West team in 7th grade and 8th grade, so I just played at AAU. But freshman year, I made the freshman team, and I realized the more work you put in, the more results you'll get. So Now I'm one of the only 3 seniors left.
Yeah, that's phenomenal. And you know, it's funny with the youth programs. We often talk about, you know, it doesn't matter what team you make. Since you were in middle school, you know, the WBA has extended lots of C teams, and it's the same thing. We'll tell all those kids that, you know, it doesn't matter what team you make, or if you don't make a team, you put the effort in, and good things can happen. It's what you bring during those couple of days of tryouts. And if you sit on the couch all summer long and, you know, expect that you're just going to roll a basketball out and be able to, you know, show well, sometimes you're in for a tough surprise. But congratulations to you for all of the work that you put in. It's really pumped to see your name on the list. Same question to you. Talk about your basketball journey. You know, started in West Roxbury, moved to Westwood. I got to coach you for a couple of years there. So how was that journey?
At first, it was a little weird coming from like a different town and like meeting all new players and like basically figuring out like what kind of like offense they run and like how to like work well with them to like win games. Like going into high school, like I wasn't really sure like what to expect. It was a complete different level of like competitiveness, and like it took a whole another level of like working hard and like being dedicated to like the program and like all the work that has to go into it. I made JV originally as a freshman and then got called up like later to varsity, and I've played varsity since then. I've been on a lot of different teams, and there's been a lot of different dynamics, I think, that like we've had to like come through and like work out as a team. So like good and bad, like being inconsistent versus being consistent, and like making sure that we're getting everything that we need to do done. So.
Awesome. One of the things I asked the seniors, the senior captains last week to do, and I'll ask the same for you, is a fun story. Could be about one of your coaches, could be about one of your fellow seniors, one of your fellow teammates, something that the public wants to know, but keeping it very PG.
Well, there was one time, it was probably the first or second practice of the year, and I walked into the locker room, and John Ing was the only kid sitting there, and he was just sitting there picking his nose. And I was like,
okay, well, there you go.
Yeah.
You know, might have been scratching his nose for those at home. We're not sure. So
yeah,
there you
it
go.
was a little weird, but
Well,
yeah.
there you go. You know, and every now and then we all have to pick
Oh,
our nose.
yeah,
He thought he was
of course,
in
of
a locker room
course,
with nobody
of
there.
course. Yeah.
Come on, it's normal.
It's normal.
There you go.
It happens.
We'll have to work on this story for next time. Give me a good story about one of your teammates, a fun story. Let's leave the nose picking out of it.
Yeah, so one time our captain, Jack Turgeon, for VP, he's always been a very lively spirit, very good at dancing. And one time for his video production class, it was just a minute-long video of him dancing very hardly, and it was hysterical. I don't know how to describe it, but it was funny.
You know, we may be able to pull some strings and get that video, and we can post it.
Yeah.
I mean, we can
get that.
yeah,
We'll
I
be
mean,
able to
we
do
might
that.
be able to make that happen.
Let's see what we can do.
So, is he a better dancer than you, or are you a better dancer than him?
I'd say I'm a better dancer.
Really?
than him.
Wow, that could be. We could also have a dance-off. This could be
Yeah.
the first ever
Alright.
in-studio dance-off between you and Jack Turgeon.
Get a little tournament going. Get the whole team
there,
involved.
there we go.
Yeah.
That would be horrible. That sounds just absolutely terrible. Well, listen, guys. You know, I've loved seeing you guys both grow as players and contribute to the high school. Has been great. You've got a great opportunity ahead of you. Every senior that I have come in at the end of the season, you know, they're number one, they're sad that it's over. Number two, they wish they could have one or two more games. So you've got a whole season ahead. Absolutely take as much enjoyment out of it as you can. You're both senior leaders. One, you're a captain. You're not a captain, but you're going to have 11 other players looking up to you, for that kind of leadership. So again, congratulations, and we'll be seeing you at home on Friday night versus Dedham.
Yep. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Joining us in studio next are two of the four senior captains on the girls' team. Welcome, ladies. Alex Finn and Caitlin Curtin. So we'll start with the tryouts. We'll start with you, Alex. Walk us through the tryouts and what you did leading up to the tryouts, and then the intensity of the 3 days of the varsity tryouts on the girls' side.
I think for us, like, we came into tryouts really prepared. Like, we had a lot of captains practices, and we worked with a lot of the underclassmen to try to like work on our game before tryouts. And for like us seniors, like we knew what to expect, but we just knew we had to go into tryouts with like the most intensity we could.
That's great. Caitlin?
Tryouts were pretty hard the first couple days because everyone's like kind of nervous and people are like playing like hesitantly, but like once you get into like the flow of things, like the energy's up, like we have to help the underclassmen get used to like how things are run, and it was a lot of fun.
So again, congratulations to both of you being senior captains. What does it mean, we'll start with you, Caitlin, what does it mean to be a captain?
Being a captain on our team means playing a role as a leader, making sure everyone feels involved and welcomed on the team for like the preseason part of it. And then for the rest of the part, it's like helping Cliff run practice, like if the energy's low or if people need help, like not even on the court, but also off the court.
Awesome. Anything to add?
I think it's definitely similar to what Caitlin said, and I think it's also like leading by example. So like we set the tone for the team, and like what we do translates to the rest of the team.
One of the questions we asked the coaches is goals that you set going into the season. So as captains, are there goals that you share with your team? Do you talk about that? How do you kind of come to that agreement as a team?
So one of the goals we set this year is we have however many practices, but our goal is to get at least 1% better every practice. So like we go into practice knowing that if we at least get 1% better, we'll be 100% better by the end. So like every practice we'll go in being like, let's get 1% better, and then we'll reach our goal in the end.
Very cool.
And I think one of the goals for us is obviously to win the state championship, and I think that's a goal that like every team should have. If you're not going to have a goal like that high, then you don't know what you're working for.
Very cool. Very cool. So now that the season is upon us, you got actually one more scrimmage today. You'll travel to Braintree. Should be fun. Friday you're traveling to Dedham. That's the beginning of 20 some odd game season. Hopefully it gets extended into the playoffs. Again, how do you look to motivate your underclassmen, the fellow seniors? How do you do that as, again, a leader of the team? We'll start with you, Alex.
I think like coming off of last year, we had like a rough season, but like this year we're kind of like trying to stay on the positive side and like going uphill. So it's great that we are returning one of our like top scorers, Elizabeth Gill, which she's been doing really well this season. And then Hannah being transferred from Nobles, so she'll be a great asset to the team. I think they both add a lot of like energy and speed to the team, which is something that we're going to try to utilize this year with like the press and stuff.
Like it a lot. Anything to add?
I think we'll be very motivated for the first game because we've had a lot of scrimmages to prepare us, so we'll be ready to go right off the bat.
That's great. So how is the team gelling? Anything you want to share on, again, things that you're doing? I believe there's some kind of events that you guys have recently had.
Yeah, we went on an overnight this past weekend, which was a lot of fun. We like mixed up the rooms to like get to know people a little bit better, and I think that really helped us like gel and click as a team, where like people that weren't necessarily like speaking up or they haven't come out of their shells yet, I think they like really got out of their shells over this trip.
That's great.
We also went to an escape room this overnight, so we were split up into like 2 random teams, and I think it helped with like the teamwork aspect because like we had to learn how to work together with like different groups, which was really fun.
Awesome. Who won? Was there a winning team?
Not our
One
room,
team
but
cheated.
the other team cheated,
no. Oh,
and
goodness.
our room was harder, so it's
Okay,
So we
yeah.
won.
That's cool. I asked the 2 seniors that were just in here. I'll ask you a similar question. There are many young players on the girls' side. What advice can you pass on? You're sitting here as seniors. I remember both of you when you were playing, 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade, travel in town, etc. What advice can you give those young players? We'll start with you.
Just like work your hardest you can, like never give up, like have goals so that you can reach them, and like don't listen to people who like say you can't do things. Like you can always work hard and get where you want to be.
Awesome.
And I think like work ethic is one of the most important things because that's what's gonna be what's like translating into your game. So whatever you put into it is what you're gonna get out of it.
That's great. Well, again, the public got to know you a little bit better, and I cannot wish you any more luck. I mean, you guys have worked so hard to get here. The best of luck for you this season, individually and as a team. And we'll be seeing you on Friday when you travel to Dedham, and then your first home game, I believe, the following week. So thanks so much, ladies, and have a great season.
Thank you for having us.
Yep. Thank you for watching Around the Hoop, the Westwood Basketball Show. We are still looking for a sponsor, so if you're interested in sponsoring this basketball coverage as well as some of the home games being filmed, please let either myself know or anybody here at Westwood Media Center. I want to give a special thanks to Westwood Media Center. They do a phenomenal job. If you haven't been to 15 Purwall Street to check out their facility, you're missing out. Great resource for the town. Specifically, Maggie McGinnis, who does all of the community programming, Connor Lynch, who is the government programming director, and then certainly Melinda Garfield, who is the executive director. They do a phenomenal job. We've got some great games coming up. If you have not seen high school basketball, you're missing out. On Friday, the girls will be traveling to Dedham, just a short trip down the road. The boys will be home against Dedham. The following Tuesday, the 18th of December, the girls will host Ashland at Westwood High School, with the boys traveling out to Ashland. And then on Friday, it will be Medfield. The boys will be home Friday the 21st to face Medfield. The girls will be traveling down Route 109. We're going to try to give you Around the Hoop every Friday. It will be filmed. We may miss one or two throughout the course of the season, but want to keep your finger close to the pulse of Westwood basketball. It's a phenomenal sport here in Westwood, and the program is as healthy as it's been from the youth level all the way up to the high school level. So thanks for joining me. We will see you next time on Around the Hoop.